Hey guys, kembali lagi di podcast DJ, podcastnya orang-orang Dota di Indonesia. Game yang kata komunitas pesimis di Indonesia udah mati, tapi padahal masih rame-rame aja sih sebenarnya. Dan bahkan Indonesia sendiri udah punya wakilnya di dunia internasional di 2 tahun terakhir, baik tim maupun organisasi. Daripada lama-lama dengerin intro, mendingan kita langsung ketemu aja sama bintang tamu kita di episode kali ini.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back again to channel Papa Dejet with my podcast, and this time I have interesting guest star which is coming from the Bleed Esport. He's already become my guest star previously, but last time he become my guest star when he's still coaching Mobile Legend Bang Bang. Yes. Right now he's back to Dota scenes. Welcome back, by the way, and welcome to my channel again, son. How are you doing?
It's good to be back. Thanks for having me back, Dimas. Hi, everybody. I'm Hades, also known as Sean. Yeah, Mobile Legends to Dota. Looks like I'm always constantly between both.
Okay. So how's the transition right now? I'm gonna make a cliche question first. The transition between back to the Dota, like you said previously, I still remember on my head that you say that it's not really hard to change because the basic is kind of the same. But right now, you back from the Mobile Legend and then back to Dota. Is there any difficulties from you?
Nah, it just feels like, it feels like I'm back home, back in a comfortable area. After all, I started out in Dota. I've been in for Dota for 8 years. So coming back is not hard. If anything, it's just refreshing. It's good to be back.
Okay. So how's Singapore? I mean, is there any differences between post TI and then before TI? I mean, it's quite a massive esport event in your country. I mean, in Southeast Asia, especially because everyone keep expecting it's happenings not in Singapore, but somehow Singapore get all the privilege to host the international 2022 that happened this year, and then it's a massive event. How's the different in your perspective for esports scene in Singapore, especially for Dota?
I think this year in general has been a pretty good year for Singapore in esports. But whether we can ride the momentum, different story. I mean, after all, in Dota 2, TI, like you said, TI 11 was hosted in Singapore, huge. And then you've got other games where teams are making it to international stages. So that's pretty good.
All right. So before we start to the main course of this conversation, Sean, how's the Bleed Esport? I mean, how's the preparation for the DPC? Is it already completed, or still one pieces, or maybe two pieces still? You trying to figure it out in terms of the management things, or maybe the players, the coach, and everything?
And we're still preparing for DPC. I think like any other team out there right now in Division 1 or even in Division 2, everyone is still preparing. Everybody's learning. I mean, that's the nature of Dota, right? It's not like pubs. I would say we get first-hand information on the meta because we are the ones that we are experimenting with the meta, right? So you never know. Maybe today you do well, tomorrow you do bad because some other team came up with something new. So I wouldn't really say that we're ever done with preparation, even if we think we are. Because if anything, it's been very comfortable at the bootcamp. Bleed we're the only Singaporean org with a team house in Singapore. And the players, everyone is very happy. And obviously with experienced captain and coach like Dubo and Forev, two of them working together, it's pretty magical. And then everyone is, of course, very, very happy. And I would say we're feeling pretty good so far.
Okay. 1 to 10, how's your confidence with the early season preparation?
Early season preparation. Oh, this is like a trick question. But for me, I would say a comfortable in between 7 to 8. I don't want to be too overconfident. because even if we think we're doing well, we always want to respect our opponents, our
Okay.
potential opponents, so that we can give our 110% when the DPC starts.
All right. That's quite safe answer. I think 7 to 8. Yeah, it's a safe answer, I think. So yeah, before we get more deeper about Bleed Esport and you, we start with you again. Can you tell us your role in Bleed? I mean, like. Your role is kind of new and also not really familiar in my ears, especially because you're not a coach right now. You're not a manager. What is your
Mhm.
exactly role right now in Bleed Esports, Sam?
I'm a talent scout in Playing Esports, so I helped to scout and build the Dota division, but I didn't
Mhm.
do it alone. So obviously, like I I started out finding the initial members, and
Mm-hmm.
then but with Forev's help, together we built the Bleed division.
Okay,
But that
so
that is my main role.
okay, so that's your main role, and then your scope of work is yeah, in other way, yeah. So you said and you mentioned about scouting. So that means one day if Bleedy Sport want to change the roster, it's depend on your scouting skills. Is that correct to say that?
I would think so, yes. If it
Mm-hmm.
ever gets to that stage, then yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like traditional sports. You look at football, you look at any baseball, anything, they always have a scout because, it's just good to have more perspectives. But I mean, my secondary role so far in the Dota team, I'm also the interim manager for the Dota 2 team. So I'm not just a talent scout, I'm just like a manager at the same time.
Ah, okay, okay, I got it, I got
So
it,
it's like
I got it.
it's like a bit of both, yeah. But to
Yeah,
answer
it's
your question, yeah, that is what I would be doing if it
okay.
ever gets to that stage. But ideally, hopefully not.
Because no one want to take a two roles at the same head, right?
No, I mean I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
Oh,
Because
sure.
your question was like if we ever need to change the roster,
Hmm.
it comes down to my expertise, right?
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
end of the day, I wouldn't say like I am the best person at building a roster because clearly I haven't like built some TI winning roster. But if anything, I do have experience and having been around in the Southeast Asian scene for a long time.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's why like when it came to building the roster with me and Forev, I was like it was very very smooth, strangely.
Okay. Okay. So, let's move to the next question, Sam. So, what I want to start to know here about Bleed, it's about the organization itself because I know
Mm-hmm.
Bleed is coming from the Southeast Asia, and I know that it's based on the Singapore. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Creating FPS game on the Valorant, as I recall, and then also somehow at the end of 2022, Bleed announced that want to join the hype of Southeast Asia Dota by I don't know. This is sounds rude to say this, or maybe sounds arrogant or something by buying a slot on the DPC season of the 2023. What is the main reason of that? I mean, like jumping from the FPS to the MOBA and then buying a slot. Is there any main reason for that?
I wouldn't say there was a very like one specific reason, but if
Mm-hmm.
anything, the whole point of Bleed expanding into different titles is because we don't just want to be like a Singapore or Southeast Asian known organization. We want to be an international organization. So that's why, like, when they announced like Dota, we also have a Naraka Blade Point team, and the players are from Thailand. Yeah, we have a Naraka team. They just competed in the World Championships. So yeah, you see that's why like I can't really narrow it down to like one reason. If any,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like okay, TA11s in Singapore, and not to mention Tundra was also in our boot camp. Maybe of a blessing. They were using the same team house the Dota team is in
Oh,
right now.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, so maybe some of that inspired the management a little bit before they signed me and gone to Dota. So just like that.
Okay.
But to actually the second part about acquiring the T1 slot, I mean I would say that it's because Bleed over here we are very committed to building that potentially TI winning roster. So the cost is not really as important.
Mm-hmm.
To us it's like okay, yeah, straight up we want to be at that level.
Okay. Okay, so this is quite interesting because my next question is about what your guys doing, or maybe you guys making a decision to take over the T1 slot instead of starting from the beginning, from the open qualifier and so on the close qualifier, try up sorry, I mean like you're not taking the beginner step, the first step of the open qualifier and then close qualifiers, come out as a winner from the division 2 and then join the division 1. You're not doing that step by step, but you're uh yeah, you're starting by taking over the T1 slot, because T1 is obviously disband their Dota 2 teams, and then you guys taking over the slot. Is there any particular reason for that?
Not really. I mean, I think one of the partial reasons, like it's not a huge reason, but one of the partial reasons is that when we are building the Dota 2 roster, there were many players who, they would only join or consider joining if we started out in Division 1. Like, to us, it's like, okay, we don't really care because this is a long-term team. This is not like, oh, we sign you for 1 season. You don't make it to the major and you can't make it to TI, we let you go. It doesn't work like that here at Bleed. So it's like, we are very committed. It's just that it made things easier to build the roster if we had the Division 1 slot. So we saw the Division 1 slot as like, like a tool to support us to getting closer towards building that roster.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, like, you build something around what you have. That's what what I can get. Yeah, right. Because you have the slot to the upper, on the first division, and then makes you get more closer to the dream of every single player on the Dota community in Southeast Asia, which is going to the TI, at least for the major, right? And you mentioned about these teams built not just for only 1 season or maybe 1 tour of the DPC, which is we're not gonna expect that if you guys fail on the first tour of the division, on the division 1, and then you guys will be changing the rooster, or maybe massive change will be happens on this rooster. We're not gonna expect that, right?
Yeah, it's definitely not like that.
Okay.
Because at Bleed we are committed to growing the players. As long as the players share our ideals at making it to TI, doing well at TI and eventually winning a TI, then that's good enough for us. Obviously if they have the talent, we want to make sure that we are the team to help them show that they are at that caliber.
Okay. On the next question, maybe this is quite something that already obvious over there, because everyone is already know who's the roster of Bleed Esports, which is there is Jackie as a position 1, Cordon as a position 2, the Singaporean, must be having a lot of support coming from the hometown, Masaros, and then Play Hard, and then the last but not least, Dubo, the veteran. I mean, like, these all names is quite having experience in Southeast Asia, or even already fill all the minor, major, or even the international. My question is, this is quite a silly question. How much you buy out Jackie from the Boom Esports?
How much we buy out Jackie?
Or is it's something like the contract of Jackie with Boom Esports is already finished, and then you get it as a free, or you break out the contract, or maybe you doing some bargain with Jackie. I mean, like with the,
we had to buy him out from Boom, but this one really? I don't think if I recall, I don't think we're allowed to mention that like publicly.
Oh yeah, sorry. You don't have to mention it. I mean, like small, medium, high on that level.
Well, that's very subjective. Because to me, high could be like a different number to you. Medium could be a different number to you.
Exactly. I'm giving you.
I don't know how to like give a number here. All I can say is aga, bro. That's just whatever your heart tells you. That's whatever your heart tells you, bro.
Yes. Okay. I get it. Whenever you cite Indonesian word, it's kind of okay. I got this. Okay. So Jackie, I mean, like, is Jackie the first option of Bleed Esports position 1 back then, before you finally get the sign of Jackie?
For position 1.
Yes, for position 1.
Okay, so I don't know how to. Okay, let me think of a way to phrase this. The answer is not no, but at the same time, it's not yes, because obviously, like, it had to be, because based on the roster shuffle, and I think we weren't sure if we could buy him out back then,
Mhm.
So at least we needed to have like backup options. So it was like different variations of roster.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but he's on the top of your list. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. That's great to hear that. I mean, because Jackie is one of the best carry in Southeast Asia, and also already proved himself in the international in the Singapore with Boom Esport, despite all the result that Boom get on the TI 11 in Singapore. Yeah. And Masaro's play hard. Cordon. Sorry. Before we go for Cordon, Masaro's play hard. Any reason to pick them? I mean, like, is because of the affability or the experiences or the most I don't know what is the reason of recruiting Masaras and also play hard.
I mean, PH is, he's been around for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, he's also been to a major level of Neon already. So that part, we didn't need him sorry, not say we didn't need him. We didn't need to like think much when it comes to picking him because he's already proven himself on a major level.
Yes.
But of course, I'm also a firm believer that when a player moves out of his comfort zone, he will evolve by a huge amount.
Okay.
Because like I don't think Dota is at this stage right now where like if you choose to stay in your home country, yeah, the sentiment and all that is great, but there's that risk of being in your comfort zone, and being in your comfort zone for too long, the team won't make it long term because the DPC it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. It goes on for a long time, for months. So that's why for these guys to leave their countries to come over, I feel like that says a lot. For
Okay.
Masaros, it was very easy because just him and Jackie. Just look at MTG. You saw that. Bro, I don't have to like prove myself or like go with some long calculation. It's just there. Just watch it. It was the whole world.
Look at MTG. Look at MTG.
Anybody could have gone for that.
Yes, I agree. But one thing that have a conflict in my mind because once Masaros leave MTG, he's joined Fnatic. He's also joining SMG and then join a Fnatic. The result of his performance, I know it's a team game, it's not a single player games, but he's not really doing well. But it's also become your consideration to recruit him. But your biggest point is before he make a downfall of his performance is still the MTG result. Is that correct?
Now, I won't say that it was a downfall. I mean, after all, C is it's a very competitive year.
Okay.
It's a competitive region, and to judge based on that one team, I would say it would seem pretty harsh. I mean, he was with SMG for how long? I can't even remember. I barely even noticed it.
Not even as in term of competitive months. I don't think it's more than 3 months. I don't know. It's
it was short. So short. You would
short.
barely notice it. Like
yes.
It's like I gave you a job and I expect you to be like play at a super international level in freaking less than 3 months. That seems kind of unfair. So I figured I haven't had the chance to work with him yet, and at the same time, I figured yes, that it was already proven before. So why can't it happen again?
Okay. It's a fair answer. I mean, like we cannot judge someone by just a 1-2 months performance and then we say that
exactly you can't.
Yeah, you cannot. Okay, one name. Sorry, before we go for this last one name, let's go for Dubo again. The most experienced player on your teams currently, playing for MVP Phoenix back then, MVP Hot 6. Go to the another region to the Team Onyx, Digital Chaos, back to Team Phoenix again, Fnatic, Geek Farm, Crazy, Undying, TSM, and right now playing for Bleed. Beside all the experiences, what you see as a scouting, head scouting for the Bleed Esport, on your perspective for Dubo?
Well, to me, it was very straightforward because even in my short time at T1, I had already considered Dubo back then. It's just that, compared to back then and now, Dubo has grown a lot. He has grown a lot. So obviously, like I tried my best to keep up with whatever tiny snippets, I could find, observing about Dubo, and I figured, and I of course, I consulted with Faref. This is not something where like, I choose the players, I choose the roster, and then I say, coach, this is the roster, coach them. It wasn't like that. I wanted it to make sure like there has to be the coach is excited to coach them kind of thing. And the very second I mentioned Dubo, is like, yeah, definitely. Let me talk to Dubo right now. So it was so simple, just like that. It's like there's nothing to overthink here.
Okay, okay, that's quite yeah. I mean, like straightforward reason why you picked Dubu. And the last one, this is, I'm sorry if I don't recall his name because this is quite new, and then all the information that I get, this is his first professional team, which is Bleed Esport. Cordon.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this guy, and where the first time you saw him?
For me,
Mm-hmm.
I have seen him. Okay, so to be completely honest, he was just like maybe like last year, he was just some name which I barely even noticed. But like up to say maybe a bit more than half a year ago, I started to notice his name like popping off. And obviously, like, there was this like Acer Predator League Singapore qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
And he was playing with a friend that I had already tried to make a casual stack back then with Forev and Ghost and Bombi before they went up to the DPC and before we split. So like during like for that qualifier, my friend he told me, he was like, hey, you need to check out this guy. I think he's the next big thing from Singapore. And I went to follow it, and I was like, damn. Because like the first thing he said to me, like, this guy is like what? He's top 20, he's 20 years old. Obviously I was very excited. Yeah, because like, to be at that age, he's so young and he's already like on the leaderboards that high up and no one knew about it. That was just surprising to me. So I had to check it out for myself.
20 years old, Sam?
Yeah, he just finished his military service as well.
What? It's oh my god. Okay. I'm looking at the Wikipedia right now. He's make a stack team with Mizu and also X Freedom. Then he's qualified for that. Okay. It's a good step for the resume, I think. And then right now playing for Bleed. So it's almost same like a situation in Indonesia for I forgot his name. My god. The one that playing for Bumi Sport for just half season. Damn, I forgot his name.
Is it Mamang Daya? It's not Mamang Daya.
No. It's not. Wait, why I can remember him?
I mean, I remember in your dream,
Drew.
Oh, Drew.
Drew. He is just playing a half month in, not even half month, sorry, half season for Bumi Sport, and then it's coming from he's playing good outside Indonesia as a pop storm and also as a public player, and then recruited as a team player, but it's not working out. I don't know what's happening, but it's not working out. I hope that's not gonna be happening with the Cordon, because if you saw him as a individual player, as a leaderboard player, it's always have differences, right? Playing as an individual in the public, and then
Yeah,
you
100%.
you combine him as a team with all the circumstances around the organization and stuff, like a real professional. It's kind of a bit different environment, and you have to manage that to be stick together with all the pressure with the fans or maybe the haters later on. That's also your duty, right? To make the teams still balance in terms of focusing on the game, and then maybe reading some hate comment on the social media. I don't know. It's also your duty, right?
Yeah. But I mean, if anything, like the scouting process, like it's not something which, I'm that new to, because like I said, since the T1 days, even before that, even like on the days on Alter Ego, with like some of my friends, that's how I got into the habit of noticing these younger players come up from the scene, players who don't really have the chance to shine. So like, obviously when Bleed approached me, the first mid player I immediately thought about, my first choice was definitely Cordon, without a doubt.
Okay.
Yeah. And because like, it wasn't like just from like one friend, one local player that told me that you need to check out this guy. It was like multiple Singaporean players. They messaged me like, dude, this guy. And everyone is so surprised by how calm, how mature he is for a 20-year-old. And That's all I can say. Because even at the boot camp, he is a huge surprise to all of us. That's all I can say.
You really want you really makes me want to fast forward to the first day of the Bleed match on the DPC 2023. I heard that you guys gonna be playing on the January, right? Because
Yeah.
Division 1 is gonna be start at the same start, which is February, and then the next months will be the second division, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so last but not least, this is quite for the closing actually. Do you have any last word for the fans out there that watching this podcast, and or you want to ask for support for all Singaporean Dota community, because I know Bleed Esport is really Bleed SG. The time is yours.
Right. So first thing to the Singaporean fans, hopefully Singapore Dota is back. ISSIS doesn't have to carry us by himself anymore. I mean, this could be the year for Singapore Dota. I believe it is. I think it's coming, 2023. And then obviously this is not just for the Singapore and Southeast Asian fans. This is for like everybody. For the international fans. Thank you for supporting us. We hope you do continue to support us, or if you haven't yet, do start following us at bleed.gg. Bleed Esports, we are very committed to this TI journey. We hope you'll follow us with it the entire way.
That's it.
Yep, that's it. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Dimas.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you so much once again, Sean, for your time to spend your time to speak with me with the 25 minutes. It's been pleasure always to speak with you to talk about esport for your career, and then right now you become a new you're starting your new career with Bleed Esport. Okay, so yeah, hopefully everything goes well on the DPC Tour 1, and see you on the recap on the DPC Tour 1. Okay.
Thank you, Bang.